Welcome to our vlog today. I'm Cam.
And I'm Shannon.
And we are...
Wife Squared.
Let's see. Today we are going to talk about... My eyes are still waking up. We're going to talk about travel stuff.
Yeah, because we were talking about some of our experiences as we traveled in Paris this last week, and some other places, countries we've had experiences as being lesbians, as well as my Tourette's playing a factor as well.
It's always interesting when we travel. Talk about your Tourette's and traveling with Tourette's. Most people don't know what Tourette's is, I've noticed.
Yeah, I've had people ask me, like I said, if I'm cold, they look at me funny. In other countries, sometimes it's very difficult to also explain, especially the English barrier. So I've had, in Costa Rica, someone kept telling me I had Parkinson's disease, and I was like, no, and I explained Tourette's to them, and they looked at me and they go, Parkinson's disease, and I'm like, no, I give up, you know. And most people, when I say, oh, I have Tourette's, if they look at me, they go, oh, you cuss, and I'm like, oh,
I said that.
And I'm like, thank you, South Park.
I thought she was joking when she told me.
You know, like I forgot that, like, when we were in Paris and we were going up in the Eiffel Tower, the elevator, of how condensed we were, that I forgot, you know, I can't do some of that stuff. I had to be more cautious of, you know, if I'm around people, people look at me, if my right shoulder's always going a lot of times. And that's one of my main ones I just can't help.
Yeah, I'm a battered spouse, right?
Yeah, I know. It kind of makes it difficult if, you know, I'm ticking next to a person or someone's on my right side and they look at me funny, and, you know, I hate being stared at.
People like to stare at things they don't understand instead of just asking.
Yeah, but actually I met a really cool guy from, Dallas to Austin. We were talking on the flight, and he thought Tourette's is all about cussing too, and so I explained anything. He was really cool, so. But
you have Tourette's, you cuss?
Yeah.
That's the one thing I hear all the time.
Yeah.
Or a lot of people just don't know what it is.
You know, and another also issue I've had before is, actually this was in Costa Rica. My medication, side effects. One of them, guanfacine. If I don't eat, I can get lightheaded, and it just so happened that I fainted in front of Cam in the middle of a practically, what, can you say village?
Nowhere. It's not
rainforest, sort of.
It was on a very rural side in a rural area, but I mean, we made it into this little bakery.
Well, I told her I was gonna pass out.
She just, like, her arms went up and she started shaking, and then
I remember her sitting down, and then when I came to, there was a Coke in front of me. I was like, oh, hey, you know. So I have to be careful of side effects, you know. Like in Costa Rica and other places, sometimes humidity, how hot it gets, or the stress can get to you as well. How about we talk about the fact of us being lesbians and traveling? That's always a fun one.
Well, I just get called sir all the time. I think I got called sir 8 or 9 times in Paris.
Oh, the one I love is when we check into hotels or Airbnbs or whatever.
When they realize it, they're like,
oh, you guys are sisters? You're like, no, we're married. And then half the time people are like, oh, that's really cool. Another half time they're like, oh. And you can tell they just don't really know what to say. And they're like, okay, you know, and they just keep going on.
They don't believe us. We made it up.
I know. Actually, we've met people traveling in the United States that asked if it's legal in the state, and I'm like, yeah, sorta, it's legal in all states now, Supreme Court. So
we haven't really had any problems traveling. Most people, well, I mean,
some places
we don't really flaunt it for the most part unless we're comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I'll research some places beforehand to make sure, like, hey, oh, it's more gay friendly, or, you know, it's okay and such, then, you know, we will. But otherwise,
I'm trying to think of any place we've been that was really not friendly, but I can't think of one.
Jamaica, they were surprised.
I was just thinking that they were really friendly though.
They were really friendly, but they were surprised.
You're married?
Yeah, we're married, and they started asking us, oh, how can you do that? You know, and all kinds of different stuff. So,
no.
They were quite friendly in Jamaica, especially the guy that changed our flat tire. Thank you very much. Oh yeah.
I just laugh it off. I get called sir so much. I even got asked if I was trans. I had TSA asked me if I was trans, which was highly inappropriate. I mean, there's nothing wrong with me, but you don't ask people that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. You know, I think I've noticed actually, especially in Europe, when you wear your baseball caps and your little collar shirts you have, you get called sir a little bit more.
I mean,
But
I don't like feminine clothing because it doesn't fit me, but I guess the long hair.
Okay. You suck.
They're doing so much construction outside. Why are you petting me?
I'm not petting you. Oh my God. Between Tahoe and Lucy, I'm like this, that, and then you.
I need to find my work stuff.
Someone was drunk last night.
I wanted to test how much it would take me to get drunk. Now I know. So
see, you know when she's drunk because you can ask her and she's like, of course I'm not drunk. And she very much argues with you that she's not drunk. It's quite cute.
Adorable. Was Francis here?
Francis
passed out early.
Yeah, Francis and white wine came about last night. For a
so we
while.
should go to Napa.
Anything else? Well, we've been to, let's see, for South America.
A lot of places.
We've been to Mexico, Costa Rica. You've been to
a lot of places in Europe, Hawaii. And the list just goes on. So yeah, if you have a question, leave a comment, like and subscribe. Once again, I'm Cam.
And I'm Shannon. And that's your phone?
And that's Lucy. I don't know. Lucy doesn't want to be in it today.
Hi.
Come here, you.
She's sleeping. It's nap time.
So we will see you next week when we go somewhere. I don't know where yet. We'll find out next week. I have a couple ideas. So stay tuned for next week. I think we're just going to do a day trip out of the state.
Ooh. Will water be involved? Maybe.
If I change my mind to somewhere else.
Ooh. You should just surprise me. I like when you do that.
Yep. All right. We will see you next week.